Hello everyone and welcome to the Magnum channel. Today we will be continuing our bone test series. Up next. Okay, the round we are testing today is the Underwood 380 ACP Xtreme Penetrator. This one is the 90 grain non-plus P. So we have the non-plus P Xtreme Penetrator. The test gun today is the Ruger LCP2. And I'm not sure 100% what barrel length that is, but we're going to shoot it. We got our bone test all set up here, and we'll see what happens. So here we are downrange looking at the results of that test. So here is our bone. You can see it shattered our bone. And we entered jug 1 here. Now this is really interesting because we entered jug 1 nice and square. But what happened is, if you look on the back side, there's our exit. So it's hard to show, but we entered here and we exited way over here. So we had some serious bullet deflection. If you look at jug number 2 right there, you can see the entrance wound right here. And so it really slanted off, and we side punched right here into the jug number 2 over here. So it went through jug number 2 here, came out jug number 2 right there. If you can see that right there. Went into jug number 3 right here, and we stopped in jug number 3. So here's the recovered bullet right here. So if you look at this round, what's really unusual about this is this is an Xtreme Penetrator, and we have some pretty serious deformation. And I have not seen this. I have seen, if you look at Kentucky Ballistics and some other channels, there's some people that have really put these Xtreme Penetrators through it, and they're not seeing any deformation generally unless they're shooting at concrete or something. And here we are just shooting at a regular old pork femur, and we have serious deformation. So I'm not sure what that's all about. Now, actually, the truth is revealed. I had done this test once before, but I forgot to have the camera rolling. So here we're going to roll in footage from, here's the second bullet right here. And if you look at the second bullet, it doesn't have as much deformation, but if you look at it, it too has damage, which again is kind of weird. This is an Xtreme Penetrator. We weren't expecting damage. And if you look at that, there is definitely some damage to that round. So that's pretty interesting. Both times we had damage to it. In the first test, actually, the Xtreme Penetrator went straight and went through jugs 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way through 4, and then bounced off of number 5, and we stopped. So we went through 4 jugs. This time, the second test, we took this weird bullet path like this, and we came in, and we went into jug 1 like this, came out like this, went through this part of this jug, went through part of this jug, and stopped in this jug. So total, we're only 3 jugs back. Now, it did make a pretty good dent in jug number 4 there. So it didn't actually go into number 4, but as you can see, it's bleeding just a little bit. It did lacerate the plastic just enough. So it was a solid 3 jugs. But what's really interesting is that we went through 4, and we went straight. And that, again, that footage was lost. I forgot to turn the camera on. And this test, really interesting also, we had the bullet veer off and come this way and stop in jug number 3. So it couldn't quite make it into number 4. So I'm not sure what the deal on that is, but that is pretty interesting. So I wanted to pause the video right here for just a second so you can look at this picture. So this is right after the shot. As the shot is going off, you can see the bone deflecting off to the right there. And I think you can see that both pieces are pretty clearly going to the right. And of course, if you just saw the shot, then they did. So this is a really interesting phenomenon. And what I think is happening here is you notice that the deformation of the bullet, as we showed, is on kind of one side of the bullet. And so I think it happened is it hit the bone, not square, but more on the left side of the bone. and because of that, this bullet is glancing. And what's interesting about this is that this is something that medical examiners have said for years, and they've noted. So if you get on the forums, you get online, look around, you will find that this is not necessarily an isolated event, but that with certain calibers, especially smaller calibers, and even more specific than that, I mean bullets of 200 grains and less, that there is a greater likelihood that the bullet is going to glance off of a bone. And so this is a perfect example of that. And we had that right here happen in this test, because if you had to shoot somebody in self-defense, the odds that you're going to hit a bone square are almost none. So there's a really good chance that you could hit a bone. So what if this had been somebody's shoulder or their arm or something like that, and you were counting on it going through and hitting their vitals and stopping them from hurting you? Well, in that case, with the way this bullet glanced, that could completely miss. If it hit their arm or their shoulder first, that could completely miss anything else that you were trying to shoot at. So it's just something to note. I'm not saying the 380 isn't a viable caliber for self-defense or anything like that. All I'm saying is it's just something to know. So you have to realize your limitations of your carry caliber, and that's something you have to take into consideration when you carry a smaller caliber such as a 380. So this is the wrap up from that bone test we just did. This is a really interesting result, guys. Here we have our Underwood 90 grain Xtreme Penetrator, and you can see our two bullets are right down there, both of which suffered damage, interestingly enough, and they both went through the bone. So that was interesting also. They both had no problems getting through the bone and penetrating a few jugs of water, so that's comforting for those of you who are carrying a 380. And I have to say that the deflection was maybe a bit disturbing, but with the smaller, lighter weight bullets, you're going to get some of that. Well, that about wraps it up for today, guys. Don't forget the link to my Facebook page is in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.